Let's now have a look at some demos which show the power of the classes we've just explained. We start with some basic shapes like rectangles, squares, ovals, circles, which are moved around and along some paths across the screen. We also have a bitmap which changes its size and moves along a linear path. We have here some rectangles being distributed on the screen in front of and behind each others. And we have some circles which are zoomed with reference to some center point. Next demo shows the use of texts, which also can be moved, expanded, and could also be contracted. We can move objects along Bezier paths. Here these circles. Also here some circles moved along this path, and a larger number of objects falling into place. Rotation is also possible. We can rotate almost any objects on the screen. We can define the timing behavior of the animation. Let, for example, objects overshoot the border of the display. We can fade objects in and out. And we can trail objects behind the paths of other objects. We can specify borders around objects and lines to points and to other objects. Here the black lines, the black borders around the circles. We can combine this with a motion event detector, which moves the object according to some touch with a finger. We can rotate objects around a center, and we can draw borders around and lines between objects. We can react to touch events, which lead to the generation and the animation of additional objects. We can pull objects on the screen. Here in this graph. And we can click on objects and start other animations by that. Collision detectors will detect whether objects collide with each other and will start corresponding animations when this happens. These are just a few examples for what is possible. We can draw graphs on the screen by drawing lines between objects. We can let these graphs appear in an animation. And we also can combine this again with gesture detectors. We can also display views like buttons on the display. And assign listeners to the buttons which start new animations. We can combine objects to more complex objects, like here texts, rectangles and bitmaps. And connect gesture detectors with them. Here we have also some combined objects which are moved around on the screen. This is a demo for grouping objects and moving them as a group. Here, placing them behind each others and letting them disappear. Also here, objects moved as a group. These circles are arranged in a circle and an ellipse. And these rectangles can be aligned on the screen. Objects can be zoomed with reference to a center.